So this is the next mini section. I'm doing numbers 32, 44, and 50. So this is going to kind of give you the gamut of what all you're going to see. So you got an easy one, a medium one, and a hard one. Remember, if you have a negative in the as the leading coefficient, factor that out. I'm not going to kill you on it, but it's going to make your life a lot easier. So starting with this first one, just like back in the very first video, we're factoring out, we have to find the greatest common factor. So find the greatest common factor. So what this section does is it takes the first little mini section and that third little mini section that I did in videos, and it combines the two into one single step. So we need to find the greatest common factor of 14 and 21. At this point, you should be fairly good at it, but if you're not, you can also use the calculator, and there's a video on how to do that. So this is going to give us 7. So 7 will divide both 14 and 21, but when I do that, I get 14 divided by 7 is 2, 21 divided by 7 is 3. There's no common factor between 2 and 3 other than 1, so I'm done. Now, do I have x's in both? No. All right, so I'm going to take 14, I'm going to take a 7 and pull that out. I'll open up a set of parentheses. And then 14 divided by 7 is 2. Bring down the x. Positive 21 divided by positive 7 is a positive 3. You're done. That's it. You've run out of terms. Now you have 2 terms in the parentheses, and you have that common factor out front. That's when you know you're done. Again, to check, just take this 7, multiply it back through. Do you end up getting this thing? If you do, you're good. If not, then go back and double check your math. All right, next one. We have, first of all, we have 1. I'm going to put a 1 out front here because it's going to kind of guide me. So I have a 1, a 10, and a 25. The greatest common factor of 1 in anything is 1. That's it. So I'm going to pull a 1 out. And then I have a common A in everything, so I'll pull an A out. And then I have a 2 D's here, 1 D here, but I don't have any D's in the background. That I can't pull out any D's because there's not enough to pull out at least one from all of them. So I'm done that way. So I pull this out and I put in my parentheses. Anything divided by itself is just 1. So 1 divided by 1 is 1. A divided by A is 1. That leaves me with a D squared. There you go. Positive 10 divided by 1 is a positive 10. A divided by A cancels, and I'm left with a D. And the last one is 25 divided by 1 is 25. A divided by A cancels out, and I'm not left with anything. Again, I have 3 terms, and if I were to multiply this A into it, I'd get 1AD squared, 10AD, and 25A, which is exactly what I have. You're good. You're fine. Now, if you get to this point and you're like, oh, poop, I missed something, that's fine. It's okay. So I'm going to show you in the next one how to deal with that rather than going back to the beginning and restarting. So let's say, all right, I'm coming into this one and I know I've got to pull out a negative. So I'm going to pull out a negative, and 369 is going to give me 3. And I pull out, there's 2 x's, 3 x's, 2 x's. I can pull out 2 x's. 4, 4, and 3. I can pull out 2 y's. Okay. If you're arguing with me right now, I made the mistake on purpose so I can show you that you don't have to go back through and redo the whole mess. So, anyway, negative 3 divided by negative 3 is a positive 1. I had 2 x's. I brought 2 out. There are no x's left in there. I had 4 y's. I brought 2 out. There are 2 y's left inside. Negative 6 divided by negative 3 is a positive 2. I had 3 x's. I brought 2 out, leaving me with 1 x inside. You don't need the 1 because it's understood that if there's no exponent present, it's a 1. However, I'm putting it in for clarity. I'll fix it later. I had 4 y's. I brought 2 out, leaving me with 2 y's left. Negative 9 divided by negative 3 is a positive 3. I had 2 x's, I brought 2 out. No more x's. I had 3 y's, I brought 2 out. I have a y left. And I'm done. So now, I told you I made a mistake on purpose. Did you catch it? So here we go. If I check all of these, I did a lot, so I want to make sure that I did it right. If I check all of my terms in here, I'm asking myself, do they still have any common factors? And it's, oh, I have 2 y's here, I have 2 y's here, and I have 1 y here. There's still at least 1 y in common. So I can pull that y out. And if I do, I'm going to get negative 3x squared y squared times y. If you have to do this a second time, you're pulling it out in multiplication. So then I go ahead and I kind of forget about this because I've already done it. So I'm just going through and I'm subtracting a y off of everything. So this is just going to give me 1y plus 2x y to the first plus 3. So I had 2 y's, brought 1 out. That means I'm left with 1. I had 2 y's, brought 1 out, left with 1. I had 1 y, brought it out, and there's none left. Now combine this stuff out front, and that's going to give you negative 3x squared y cubed. You have 3 y's here now in total. And then you have y plus 2xy plus 3. And that's it. So if something happens, double checking yourself the whole way, because it's going to get fairly complicated. Something happens, bring out more as multipliers. You don't have to start over. If you get just utterly confused in the problem and you're like, I don't know where, then okay, go ahead, start over. Maybe just pull, just concentrate on one thing at a time. That might help too. So if you have any questions, again, make sure, get a hold of me. Ask me questions. We can meet online. It's fine. All right? I hope this helps.